Hello and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience and waiting for Kerstin and myself. My name is Lisa Jans and I'm also known as Job Coach Germany. And as you can see, I'm not here on my own. Kerstin Brunner, Finance Ambassador, is here as well. Hi, Kerstin.
Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. It kind of feels like we're doing this on a regular basis, like having like a little tea in the evening and talking about the behind the scenes of our Welcome to Germany summit. And I really love that. I enjoy spending these evenings with you so we can recap a little bit and just think about all of the different aspects that we are actually organizing from behind, from the background, so that we can create this wonderful event for internationals, immigrants, expats, repats, any newcomer in Germany, or also internationals who are already in Germany, so that we can help you guys even more with feeling more settled here in Germany and also feeling welcomed. That's basically why we're organizing the Welcome to Germany Summit. So let's talk about the first and foremost important aspect, the date and the time. So when do we have our summit, Kerstin?
It's on the 29th of September from 1 to 7 p.m. Central Europe time, so German time.
Yeah, so and this is something that you all should mark in your calendars. And that's the reason why we're doing this behind the scenes video or live stream tonight, because we want to talk a little bit more about the schedule, about the agenda and the speakers, what they're talking about, so that okay, it's the 29th of September, it's happening from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., but what is happening in between? So maybe you've already got a sneak preview of all the different speakers, because we had the great chance to interview all of them and give you a little glimpse about what their hot topics are. So maybe you already have an idea what kind of speaker you want to see, or which kind of topic is most interesting to you. So if you, who is watching right now, already know whom you want to see, let us know in the comments. Let us first of all know in the comments where you're from, so where you're tuning in from, then what kind of topic you are looking forward to, or also which kind of speaker you want to see, and also share your questions in case you have any, so that Kerstin and I can talk about that. And maybe you've seen this series already, so this is not the first behind the scenes video. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go onto our LinkedIn channels and just simply search for the other behind the scenes videos, because what was the first topic that we talked about, Kerstin? I can't remember now. So it was basically the technical side of things, I think.
Yeah, so last time we talked about the obstacles. And before we talked about a mix of technique and about our network and how we got the idea to set up a summit. And I want to share something else, because mainly people ask me, is it an online summit? Yes, it's 100% online. That means everyone around the world can participate online and can get all this information, can see our wonderful speakers with all their hard topics and how they can provide support for you, for your issues.
Yeah, and that's also, so this is probably the question that we get asked the most, whether it's where it's happening, whether it's online or not. So basically everything that you need is access to the internet, whether you're tuning in from a cafe, through your phone, or wherever you are. Just feel free to register through the sign up link that you will also find in the video description or below in the comments. And then we can tailor it a lot more to your needs. But basically, wherever you are, you can tune in to our summit. You can access all the talks of the speakers. It's for free for everyone and entirely online. And that is also something that has come up whenever we are talking about organizing this event. So it's not just Kerstin and myself. We are organizing the event from behind, but obviously we're also talking to our speakers. And many of the speakers, if not like the majority of our speakers, are also expats who are living in Germany. So they have come from a different country from abroad and are now living in Germany. And that's what gives you, an opportunity to take your first steps when coming to Germany in a lot easier way than they had. So many of them have told us they wished they had an event like that once they got here or just before they got here, because it was really difficult for some of them to settle, because you don't know the language, maybe you don't have a job, you don't know how to move on after your studies, maybe you don't know how to learn the language, what kind of job you want to search for, how to set up a bank account, what it takes to organize your insurances, for example. And all of these things can seem very overwhelming and like a massive mountain that you have to climb, which is totally normal. This would happen to Kerstin and myself as well if we were to go abroad and move to a different country. And you mustn't forget, the culture is also very different. And that's probably something that is most difficult for some people, that you might get yelled at when you want to walk at a red light to the other side of the street, and you can always see whether somebody is German or not, because whenever I'm abroad, I will always stand there and wait for the red light to turn green, and then I've exposed myself to the world that I'm German. But this is something that can be very overwhelming. It can be it can feel like you're not welcome here, but that's actually not the case. We are very open and we want to have you here. And also the German labor market, speaking from my expertise and my background, is actually searching for people from outside of Europe, because we don't have enough people that can actually fill all the gaps that are open there. And there are some people here, so let me just simply share. Hi, how are you, Russell? Thank you very much. Where are you tuning in from? We are fine. Kerstin and I are tuning in from Germany, from different parts of Germany, but we are tuning in from Germany, even though it looks like I'm in a tropical rainforest. Okay, so shall we dive into our agenda for the summit? Then you guys stay tuned. We are about to share some of the images that you might have seen that we've also prepared from the background. So what you can see here is the first set of speakers. So Kerstin and I are the organizers, and just before 1 p.m. in the afternoon, we will give a little introduction, and then we dive right into the topics. And the first team that will be talking are Tariq Boumadi and Carla Fernandez-Wessel, who are from the company Move In. And Kerstin, how did you get to know Tariq and Carla?
To be honest, I'm not sure how the first contact was, but I remember that Tariq and I had a conversation regarding topics from my field. So he asked me a lot of questions regarding insurances, bank account, finance things. And he said that he often get questions from the customers asking this because when people start in Germany, they do have questions in this field. And we had a webinar or workshop together. With the topic was pension, how the pension scheme works here in Germany. And it was wonderful because we had 45 minutes for a presentation. And after that, over 1 hour discussion with all the people in the workshop and answering questions. So it was very great.
Wow.
And normally when the people come to me, they do have they had relocated, but some of them do have questions in this field as well. So this is a topic that is so important that we want to have speakers here on the summit talking about relocation.
Yeah, that's right. And this is also a very hot topic, I would say, because I remember that when we were trying to organize the summit, that I told you that that I know a couple of relocation experts that are offering relocation services in Germany. And then I tried contacting them to find out whether they would like to participate in our summit. But they refused because they had just simply changed their direction with regards to their self-employment, with regards to their business. And they are probably still helping a few, but not advertising their relocation services anymore. And on top of that, when you told me about Tarek and Carla, what I found most helpful is that they are offering their services online entirely. And that's for those relocation experts that I knew wasn't the case. They would offer it online, but they were very city specific in Germany. And for that, it would have meant to just increase the network even more. So it was a lot easier with Tarek and Carla.
Yeah, and both are expats. So Tarek is from Morocco and Carla is from Mexico. And both know how it is to start in Germany.
Yeah, that's right. So they can relate to all of you who are thinking about moving to Germany or who are already in Germany. Now, here you can see on this picture that Tarek and Carla will be our first speakers, and they will start their presentation and talk at 1 p.m. And their topic is the main steps of your relocation in Germany. So for this, I would assume that you should get pen and paper so that you can take notes, so that you really take notes on the different steps that you were supposed to take. But this is helpful for you because then you get the right order from the very beginning. All right, so that's wonderful. Thank you. And let's move on to the second speaker. So half an hour later, we have Marta Koinak, who is a German language trainer and coach. Oh, and let me just quickly interrupt here. So what you can expect with regards to the schedule and the agenda, it will always be for those speakers that you have a 20-minute time slot where they are talking about their hard topic, and then you get 10 minutes chance to ask your questions. So you can ask your questions in between, and then we have a 10-minute time slot where you can actually discuss like through the live chat with the experts what kind of questions you have. And through the sign-up sheet, we have already received many questions. So thank you very much for everybody that has participated. And you please can continue sending us the questions, and we will then share them with our experts. So Marta is, as I said, a German language trainer and coach, and I find her profile and her expertise and the way of her coaching very inspiring because it's very different from all the language courses that I've ever taken. And she is talking about learning German for your career in Germany. Now, Kerstin, I know that you were first in touch with Marta as well. Do you remember how that got about?
Yeah, I sent her a message on LinkedIn. So this is something the audience need to know that we are doing, or I do mainly networking on LinkedIn, and that we, or that I look for experts working with expats. So, and I saw Marta and sent her a message that it would be very interesting for me to get in a nearer contact with her. And we had a Zoom call, and she told me how she works, and it was very impressive, sorry, because she is doing it very individually. So that means people can come up and tell her their current life situation and what their goal is. And so Marta can give coaching tailor-made. So sometimes she works with moms, so they need special vocabulary, for example, on the playground, going to a doctor, in the kindergarten, or with a manager level. People will say, I want to take the next step. I want to get better in German because I'm leading a team. And for me, it's very important to be fluent in German. Then Marta works with the people on that goal. And this is very, very interesting because mainly you get a video course and you can call for 1 hour and you need to learn vocabulary and the grammar and all this stuff, but you are not sure, do you learn how to speak real German? Yeah. So this is normally at school, it's the same with English, France, or French, or whatever. You learn the language, but it's not in German we say Umgangssprache. So
right.
So maybe the problem.
Yeah, so this is the most important part when learning a language, that you can actually communicate with the people when you are on the street or when you're in the city. Yeah, and just or simply with your colleagues. These little chats that you have during the coffee break, for example. Normally you don't get prepared for that well enough, but that's what Marta can help you with. And just it definitely will help you with integrating into the culture a lot more, because this is something that I've realized when I was living abroad. As soon as I surrounded myself with locals and they would teach me their colloquial language, then it was a lot easier. And they would also accept me a lot more somehow, because it's just a reflection. Yeah. But this is something that is obviously not taught in school when you're sitting there with 20 other people.
Right. Yeah, and Marta, she's original from Hungary. So she came here to study, and she's also familiar with everything that comes up starting in Germany. So that's very valuable.
That's true. That's true. All right. So wonderful. Let's move on to the next one. We have our wonderful Kathleen Griffin, or also known as Kate. We call her Kate. And at 2 p.m., she will talk about what I wish I knew when I was you, stories from an intercultural trainer. So in this topic, you can already see Kate is an intercultural trainer, but not just that, but she also teaches English on a professional level, and she's also a business coach. So it is a holistic approach that she is offering her clients, which basically means that there are different topics that are maybe currently an issue for you. And then maybe half a year later, you've already overcome this obstacle, but a new obstacle pops up. So first of all, it could be maybe just some cultural issue. Then later on, you feel like you need to improve your language skills as well during your business meetings. And then also you want to improve your appearance, maybe in business meetings, something like that. And this is what Kate can help you with. Now, I remember, I think, Kerstin, that you also got in touch with Kate first, right?
Yeah. So it was the same like with Marta. So I searched for experts working with expats, and the profile of Kate sounded very interesting for me. So I wrote her a message, and we had a chat, and I learned that she's really flexible, because I know our first chat or video chat was when she was waiting for a plane in the US at a she's waiting for a plane. And she tried to find out what I'm doing and what I want from her. And then we talked about the summit, and she said, oh, that sounds very interesting, and is it possible to be a part of that? And then I said, you should talk to her. to find out what would be or what fits perfectly to the summit, because we do have some or intercultural coaches, or we had some coaches we talked to, and for us it's important to have diversity, but not to have mainly two things that are really the same. So, and this is something Kate provides. This is something different she does, and that was very interesting for us, and that is what we want to share with the participants.
Yeah, that's right. And also this aspect of intercultural trainers. So you will see that we have not just Kate as an intercultural trainer in our group of expert speakers, but that is because this topic of culture is so vast. And Kate now is focusing on the first early steps, basically. So this first switch, the first little obstacles or issues that can arise when you're coming to Germany. Yeah, and that's why she called it "What I Wish I Knew When I Was You." So when she moved to Germany, yeah, because she's from the US and she's now living in Germany as well. So that's what this is all about. I'm very much looking forward to that. And let's see. Another one of our speakers is George Robleto, and he will be talking about how business English gives you an upper hand in the German market. So you may see that it's very kind of aligned to the German job market as well. But that is because, as I told you before, we set up this registration link for you all so that we can tailor the event according to your needs. And I would say that roughly 70% of the questions that you've sent in were all about entering the German labor market, relocating here, and it's all related to your job and work life, obviously. And that makes total sense because this is the base that you have to build. You need to earn some money somehow in order to be able to afford living in Germany as well, even though for some people it might seem so. For example, when you're coming from the US and come to Germany, it might seem that you're earning less because the number on your payslip looks less, but all of the other benefits that you're getting when you're coming to Germany, like safety and the health care system, for example, are just a few of these things. Free education, these are just a few of these things that mainly my coachees always tell me why they're coming to Germany. Now, when you're coming from other parts of the world where the living standard is less compared to Germany, then obviously it's a huge push for you coming to Germany. But this is a safety net, right? Looking for the job. And that's why a lot of the speakers also aligned their topics to your needs. So they tailored their talks around your questions that you've had. Now, I spoke with George, and just to give you an introduction, so he will talk at 2:30 in the afternoon, and he's a business English teacher and also the host of a podcast that is called The Canadian Wants to Know. And what George is doing is similar to the thing what Marta is doing, just for English, because he has a very individual approach of learning and teaching English. And this is very helpful for some of you who might have who are coming from abroad, and you're coming to Germany, and you know your first language, you have your own mother tongue, and now you've probably learned English in school, and maybe your English is quite good, but maybe not to an expert level. So you have a lot of knowledge and you have a lot of expertise, but during business meetings, you don't know how to express yourself in a way that you come across as expert. And that's what this is all about. That's why George can help you with. And now, Kerstin, I cannot ask you how you met him because I met him. So I came across, so I'm also doing this networking like Kerstin, but not just So I'm always happy to connect with coachees and also experts that are working with expats, but I'm also using Instagram sometimes. And with George, for example, I came across his profile through Instagram. And that is also, I think, through a common connection. When you are floating around in this area of working with expats and immigrants and internationals, all of these podcasters are in some sort of a bubble. So you just need to knock on that bubble, and then okay, so you are part of this as well. And I remember another speaker of ours, Sean Behrens, is also in touch with George, for example. They have, I think, been guests on each other's podcasts somehow. And that's how I came across. So I wanted to search for more people that I can interview that will help you guys to find your way around, or also get some insights with regards to networking and getting insights on adjusting to the German culture. For that, the podcasts are very helpful. And that's how I found George. And then I simply I asked him to be a guest on one of my live streams, and then I was also a guest on his podcast. So I don't know who started it. It could have been that I was a guest on his podcast first, and then he moved on to my live stream. But it was very, very interesting. And he is from Canada, living in Germany, has been living in Germany for 7 years. And he started in Hanover and is now living in the Black Forest. And that is just really gorgeous. And his energy, you will see when he gives his talk, his energy is just really bubbly and lively. And as you probably know from me, and he said, it's really rare that a German has energy like myself. And I said, well, get used to it, because Lisa's bubbly as well. Yeah. And then basically I introduced George to you as well, Kerstin, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. So now let's move on to 3 p.m. There we have a special guest, as I would say. We are talking to Abbas Kermani, who is an engineer, a management graduate, and a data analyst. And he's not working as all of the other speakers, for example, which is why he's not just giving a talk, but he will be included in a sort of interview that I'm doing with him. So I will be asking the questions, and we are going through the topics of transitioning from a student visa to a job seeker visa to a work permit, because that is a very difficult topic. Kerstin, we don't have a visa expert, do we?
No, it's so difficult to find a person doing this, because normally when people would come to Germany, they need a visa specialist in their country. Yeah. So if you meet a person saying, I can cover the whole world, in my eyes, it's not possible.
Yeah.
There are so many difficulties and differences, and no. So we don't have a professional a professional expert for that, and this is why we asked Abbas if he's so kind talking about this topic. Yeah,
that's right. And just a little bit of background knowledge. So Abbas is originally from Pakistan, and he has moved to Germany several years ago, and has different stages and cities that he moved from and to. And he just simply shares during this interview his experience, and also all of these different aspects that you need to be aware of when you are thinking of organizing a visa, because a lot of people underestimate the amount of paperwork it actually includes, and most importantly, the time frame that you have to consider to actually start this visa process, because it can take up to months. And especially during COVID times, it was very difficult for a lot of people to extend their visas, to get a visa, because the embassies were simply closed and wouldn't work. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, and that's what Abbas will be sharing, how he organized all of this. And this is very helpful information, I think. And the way how we got in touch actually was that he contacted me, even though he is not a professional expert talking like a podcaster or a coach or something like that. But he was listening to the interviews that I was doing with other expats, and he said, "Well, I think I have an interesting story to tell." And it sure was a very interesting story. And the funniest part about all is that we're now currently both living in the same city. So a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, we met for coffee, and that is that's the best part about the job, when you get to meet your colleagues, your network, just in person as well. And that's something that when we had this coffee, that he told me again, there are people from his network that are asking him about the visa, and he also doesn't understand why people are not aware of the fact how long it takes to actually organize these visas. So yeah, I'm happy, and I introduced Abbas to you, Kerstin. And yeah, we will see how this goes, but it's definitely worth watching, because this is one of the very first steps that you have to take before coming to Germany. You have to sort out your visa if you are from outside of the EU. Okay, then moving on to Jan Kronenberg. Woo! At 3:30, we will do some physical exercise, because Jan is a movement coach for freedom from tension and pain. And he will talk about or show us why movement is key when working from home. So now, Kerstin, you are the one who introduced Jan to me. How did you meet?
Okay, that's interesting. So Jan is very active at LinkedIn, and he often posts some short videos with exercises, and this is how I get to know him first. And he had an exercise called the carp fin.
Yeah,
it's a fish. Yeah. And it was so impressive for me that I wrote him, and that it was very helpful for me. And to be honest, I'm working with Jan, so he's my trainer. And as we thought about the agenda, I had in mind that it would be great to have a person doing something active. Not only everyone is sitting around and listening to the talks, and also the speakers, that they can be active. And I asked Jan, how is it? Do you want to be part of the summit? And he said, yes, for sure. Great. What should I do? Yeah. Wonderful. So I'm very much looking for the exercises, because it will be a very tough day for both of us. So it would be great if we can do some exercises. Yeah. And then I said you have to meet with Lisa, and this is how everything started.
Yeah, that's right. And Jan is also a person with a great attitude and wonderful energy, I have the feeling. And this is something that you can see, and that's probably how you got to know him, through these little videos, because he's always very just simply sharing you can see that it's his passion what he's doing, and that he knows a lot about the physical, like the fitness of the body, and just simply what kind of little tricks you can do in your everyday life in order to improve your posture, for example, and just simply work regularly but easily and effortlessly, so that you can free yourself from tension and pain that you might have. And I'm also very much looking forward to that part. And we also scheduled that at this time, because it's kind of like in the middle of the summit, so that people can gain more energy, and just have a little break in between, have a little break, do some exercises, and then let's move on with more topics. So I find this really, really good that you thought about this idea, Kerstin. It was a really great idea. Okay. Oh, yeah. And one more thing about Jan. He is also an expat. So he's originally from Germany, but he's living in Belgium. So he can also relate to you guys. So as you can see, as we say in German, der rote Faden, there is a red thread. So amongst all the speakers. So let's move on to the next speaker. That's me. So just a quick overview. And I asked you guys in the audience what kind of topic you want to listen to, because normally I've been invited to various other summits before, and normally I would talk about a topic that I know a lot of people neglect. I'm talking normally about the cover letter, because a lot of people don't think that the cover letter is actually very important for the application process. But in Germany, the employers are still very focused on that, because, just a little side note, the CV is a factual sheet of paper and the cover letter is more personal. So they want to learn more about you as a person. But then I asked you all the question and what kind of topic you want to hear from me, and you decided against the cover letter. And that's why I obviously arranged my talk according to your needs. And you want to know how to actually search for a job in Germany. And that's what we will be doing. So I will share with you the steps that you have to do in order to really, nail this job search. So my topic is the actual job search, how to search for a job in Germany. And you can listen to it at 4 p.m. in the evening, or in the afternoon, rather. And if you don't know how Kerstin and I got to know one another, it was basically Kerstin's laying on a sunbed on a holiday. But this is a very funny story. I really enjoy that, because it was kind of like a connection, and we feel this connection. It's like a very strong bond that we also have, even though we have never met in person yet. But it's somehow we are on the same frequency, I have the feeling, because it just feels very easily, and it comes naturally to us to talk to one another, be very open and honest and supportive. And that's why it's very helpful for us organizing the summit. I couldn't imagine doing this without you.
Oh, thank you. It's the same. Oh.
Okay, so that's about my topic. Let's move on to another very important expert, who is another intercultural trainer. Wiebke Homburg will be talking about navigating German work cultures at 4:30. And she's an intercultural trainer, expat coach, and she's also a new work fan. And I remember, this is also another story of mine, because I got in touch with Wiebke, and this is also, I found her through various social media channels. So I think I first met her through Instagram, and I was just simply following her because I saw that she's working with expats as well. And her company is called Chameleon Coaching. So like the animal that is changing and adjusting to the environment. And this is just such an image that is just very helpful for intercultural training, that I thought it was an eye catcher. And that's why I just simply followed her. And also her contents were very interesting. And now I then somehow also found her on Facebook. And then later on, I also found her on LinkedIn. And then I thought, okay, so she's in the same environment where I am. And I always thought, okay, maybe I can get Wiebke to talk to me for a live stream at some point, so I can share with my community what she can offer and how she can help. And that was just very wonderful, because a couple of weeks ago just in preparation for the summit as well, I got the chance to interview her, and we have actually a lot of things in common, because the fact that she has just simply also moved to this topic of new work, it's a topic that I'm very much interested in as well. And we found each other talking and discussing books that we both read with regards to that topic. And it's very helpful, because this new work lifestyle it just means a lot of adjustment. It just means a lot of flexibility. And this is not just for expats and internationals, but it's also for all the Germans that are just learning to get used to the new way of working. But Wiebke has specialized in working with expats, repats, and immigrants just in general. So her background is very international. She has lived in various countries for several years, and then ended up in Germany, and that is very helpful for you guys who will be watching, because there are not just some cultural shocks that you can come across on your personal level, but actually in your work life. And as I said before, this work life is kind of like the base and the safety net that you are organizing for yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable in your workplace because you might have some cultural differences that you are unaware of, then you should talk to Wiebke. Yeah, and then I introduced Wiebke to you, Kerstin, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so wonderful. Now let's move on to our next speaker. This is drumroll, Kerstin Brunner, finance ambassador and also summit organizer. Kerstin, what will you be talking about at the summit?
So I will talk about financial education and how I got, or about a guidance on your German journey. As I started in this field working with internationals, I found out that there are mainly two topics that causes issues. So first of all, it's the language gap and the information gap. And if you have both gaps and you are not sure where you can get answers, you will lose a lot of time. So that means you need, first of all, some, and I will say an expert, so someone who knows everything regarding your topic. So it doesn't mean that I'm fit to everything. So I'm, for example, I'm not doing tax advice, or finding job for people. So this is something that people ask me always: do you make tax advice, or do you have a job for me? No, I don't. But in my field, I'm an expert, and I can translate not only German, English, English, German. I can also talk in customer language, I would say. So I can make things understandable. And if you have this both topics, they close these gaps coming up on your way, you will save a lot of time. So that means you will reach your target or your goal much earlier than doing everything by yourself and don't knowing is everything right or wrong. So you will get all answers. You have the possibility to choose a solution that fits to your current situation and to the plans you have in the future. And this is something I want to show up how I can give guidance in this process. So what I can say, I will bring 3 examples so that it's a bigger picture to see what everything comes or can come working with me.
That's wonderful. It sounds really, really helpful. And this is something that we've discussed before several times in other interviews. So if you guys are interested, feel free to go on to Kerstin's profile as well and take a look at the videos that she has on her profile, because that is something that I always find very difficult when I'm working with my coachees and they get a job. This is all they worry about, but then everything else, there is more that they need to organize. And all of these things, if they don't have someone like Kerstin, they don't know the options, because there will be one person, maybe the employer, most of the time it's the employer, that tells them this is the way you can use this, this, and this. But then you don't have the choice, basically. But when you are talking to someone like Kerstin, it's like a little like a box of chocolate, and you can talk to Kerstin to think about, okay, what is it that you need on your individual path in your life. And this is very individual, because the employer doesn't really know whether you will be staying there for a couple of months, years, because this is in your mind. And sometimes you are not even very honest with your employer and don't tell them, yeah, you want to go back home after 5 years, because then you might think that you don't get the job. So you tell them, no, I will stay indefinitely. But maybe in your journey, it's different in your head. And that is something that Kerstin can help you with. You will design a path and just find the solutions along the way.
Yeah, we will create a roadmap.
Yes, a roadmap. Exactly. Woo! Cool. Very cool. Okay. That's, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Moving on to Katie Rosler. So Katie is a transformative grief guide and also book author of, I think, 2 books it is now. And she's a licensed professional counselor. And 5:30, she will be talking about the emotional journey of the expat and how you can recognize when grief hits and what to do about it. So we clustered it in a very vast topic called hidden grief. So that's basically what Katie is talking about and what she has written her book about. But this is a term that a lot of people are mistaken, because they think grieving is just about losing a person. But Katie has actually found out that this emotion that you have with regards to losing a person is an emotion that you have in various other situations as well, especially when you're moving and developing from one stage of your life to another, when you're moving from one country to another. There's a lot of things that you're leaving behind, not just your previous home, but also your friends, your family. And this is causing you grief. And that's what Katie wants to make you aware of, that you know what this emotion is actually about. And she has gone through the process herself. She has researched this process in detail, and she is the right expert to tell you how you can deal with all of these emotions that are coming up. And I came across Katie's profile again, I think through Instagram, and she was talking about just these everyday life situations and how we are dealing with them, and that some of these everyday life situations can be overwhelming. And then I thought, but I thought she's like a hidden grief person. I didn't know at the time what that meant. So, and then, but from the topics that she talked about, I thought, it's very relatable, and it's the topics that she's covering are topics that are in everybody's life and that everybody can work with. And I remember that I also did a live stream interview with her, and that one of my coachees told me, Lisa, now I finally know what's wrong with me. And that is the best part about doing these live stream interviews, that I see, okay, I'm actually helping people with that. So finding the right people, connecting the right people with one another, this is just so great. It's the best feeling ever. Yeah, and then I introduced Katie to Kerstin, and we invited her to be part of our speakers for the Welcome to Germany Summit, right?
Yeah, right. And in my eyes, it's really important that we don't have only fact topics.
Yeah.
Because we do have a lot of soft topics as well. And this is very important, because all is one. Yeah. So it's not only facts, and it's not only the soft topics. They are related and they come together, and it's very important to have both sides and speakers for that as well.
That's true. That's a very good point that you mentioned there. It's like seeing you in the audience as an individual, but from all aspects. It's not just your work life, it's also your private life, it's your family, it's your friends, and networking, and just finding your way around. And that's why it's so important, as Kerstin mentioned, not just to cover these hard topics such as finding a job or also financial education, but also how you deal with that on an emotional level with these soft topics. So we're very happy that we have these guides, counselors, and intercultural trainers on board as well. Okay, moving on to our final speaker, and that is Sean Behrens, who is a content copywriter and host of the Germany Experience podcast. And at 6 p.m., he will be giving you advice for adapting and integrating in Germany. And he's using all of his knowledge and experiences that he has gained from discussions with 100 plus foreigners. So on his podcast, the Germany Experience podcast, he has had more than 100 guests and expats, or also experts that are working with expats, to give you an idea of what life in Germany is all about. That's why the Germany Experience. So you get the full experience if you're listening to his podcast. And Kerstin and I are both, for sure, we think he has a wonderful radio voice. And I actually, when I got in touch with him, it was last year, I remember, and I was involved in a professional mastermind group to improve my business skills as well. And at the time, I was thinking of how can I improve my content so that you in the audience can get more help from what I know and from my network. And I remember that I was afraid. I was really afraid, and I was nervous, I was anxious, and really excited before contacting Sean. So I was talking to my mastermind group, and I said, well, I have this one podcaster, and I know that he's like, I'm listening to his episodes, and he's so good, and he has the right audience, and I would love to interview him. And then the mastermind group just said, yeah, why aren't you inviting him? And I said, I don't know, I'm so afraid. And then I just simply texted him. Was it that way? Because so it was kind of like it was a very close decision, because I had to, as we say, jump over my shadow, get out of my comfort zone to contact him. But at the same time, he was already aware of the things that I was doing. So he said, can you be part of and come to my podcast? And I was just in heaven, because I thought, wow, this is so cool. It's not just that I can interview him, but he wants me on his podcast as well. So that was really wonderful. It was a major breakthrough from me as well. And we have been recording episodes ever since. And then I introduced him to you, Kerstin, as well.
Right. So a dream comes true. Wow.
Yeah. Definitely. And this is also something that you all can be aware of. I know that we are now talking about these are the experts and they know how to deal with certain situations, but you shouldn't be afraid. So this is something that we're trying to communicate here. We're trying to show you they have been where you are now. They have been living abroad and then made their way to Germany, and now they are living here in Germany. And they are not on any pedestal or something like that. They are just simply here to help you. And that's why we all got together in this group to help you out. And that's also why we decided to make this event free for everybody and to make it online so that everybody can access it. Okay, so Kerstin, what did I miss?
Please show us the last slide.
Yes, okay. Woohoo! If you guys want more information, need more information, and want to participate and share this event with all your friends, colleagues, and family, use this slide. Use this wonderful QR code, and use the hashtag Welcome to Germany Summit 2022, and then you get all the information that you need. So we've shared the agenda with you. We've shared the speakers with you. We thank all the speakers from the bottom of our heart that they are supporting us with their expertise and experience. And we thank all of you guys who are watching us and who are watching the recording, that you are actually signing up for our event, participating, and share your questions with us, because that's the way how we can tailor things more to your needs. And this is also how we can just help more people around the world.
So again, it's on the 29th of September this year from 1 to 7 p.m. German time.
Yes, wonderful. That's really cool. Anything else, Kerstin, that we need to share tonight?
So maybe we can give the information that after Sean from 6:30 p.m. we will have an outro. So
yes,
Lisa and I will make a recap of the event, and you can maybe share more questions, or you can let us know what was very valuable for you, so we can share this with all the audience.
Yes, right. That's very helpful. So at basically that's how we're closing the event with you guys, because this is what it's all about. This event is designed for you, and that's why we want to have this time slot at the end, so that you can get all the questions out there, that you can connect with the speakers as well, that you can get in touch with those that are most interesting to you, or with the topics to learn more about that. And yeah, we can just simply learn also from you which kind of topics are most valuable to you, as Kerstin mentioned. So I'm very pumped. I'm very hyped. I can't wait. We are in the middle of still organizing everything, and it's just so cool, because we have created a lot of content for you guys already that is out there and that is helpful. But I can't wait. It's kind of like I have this countdown that is just helping me realize, okay, this event is actually happening in a few weeks.
Yeah. So for all of you who are on LinkedIn, in the next days, we will share some video snippets from interviews Lisa does with the people, with the speakers. So you can find out what topic or which speaker is mainly interesting for you. So we hope you will stay with us from 1 to 7 p.m. But maybe there's something you say, that's my main topic. And so we created QR codes as well. So you will find the information where to find the whole video and the whole live session. And that's recorded with the speakers, so you can get more information, what their hard topic is, why they are doing this, how they find their hard topic, and of course, why they are participating in the summit.
Yes, woohoo! Wonderful. And this just gets me more hyped up because there are actually, each of the speakers has their own little, like their own passion, their own flame inside of them that is burning for their topic. And it's just so great to see that they can now share it with the audience, and that a lot of people all around the globe can actually access that information. So, Kerstin, thank you very much for taking the time tonight to talk to me again about our behind the scenes of the Welcome to Germany Summit. And we warmly invite you all to participate in our event on the 29th of September. We are very much looking forward to meeting you all then. And thank you very much for tuning in tonight, and speak to you very soon again.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye.
Thank you, Kerstin.